If you're on a quest to sound more melodic when you are guitar soloing, then one of the things that you probably want to explore is playing with chord tones. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. When people are talking about using chord tones to solo, what that means is the notes in the chord. So before you can use the chord tones, you need to know what the progression is that you're actually playing over. So in this particular video, I'm going to use a fusion-y style backing track that goes a bit like this. So we've got an A major 7 chord, which is going to sound like this. We're then going to go to a G7 or G sharp 7, sharp 5, an altered dominant chord, which sounds like this. Then we're going to go into C sharp minor 7, F sharp 13. So this is a jazzy kind of chord progression, which you would come across in, fusion styles, that sort of thing. That chord progression justice as you're soloing around it, there's a number of different ways that you can approach that, but one of them is hitting the tones that are in the chords. Now that means learning arpeggios, okay? So the arpeggios are basically the melodic way of playing the notes that are in the chord. So if I'm playing A major 7, this chord here, in this position of the guitar neck, I would want to be playing a shape that looks like this. So they are all of the notes of that chord played melodically rather than harmonically. Harmonically is when you're playing a chord, melodically is when you're playing them as a single note or an arpeggio. Okay, the next chord that we have is this G7 sharp 5. Now technically that's what's called an altered dominant chord. So what we need to play over this, most of you that are watching this have probably come across the standard dominant 7th arpeggio, which looks and sounds like that. What you want to do over this chord is literally, as the name suggests, sharpen the 5th. So you're going to play root, 3rd, sharp 5, flat 7, root, 3rd, sharp 5, flat 7, back to the root. Okay, so that's a G7 sharp 5 arpeggio. Then we're going to go into C sharp minor 7, which is basically the arpeggio of this is like the minor pentatonic scale, but minus the 4th. So it's kind of something that you would already know anyway. And then lastly, F sharp 13, as that's a dominant 13 chord, I would be looking at using just a standard dominant 7 arpeggio like this. Now, one of the things you probably noticed is I'm trying to keep the arpeggios all in one part of the guitar neck. That is because when you're playing through a chord progression, your soloing ideas will voice lead. That's the term that we use for basically melodically going from one arpeggio to the next, so that you make musical sense in your lines. So by playing in one part of the neck, we get natural voice leading from one line to the next, but it also makes it easier on our hand technically. So what I'm going to show you here is a little exercise that you can use with these arpeggios based on the top 4 strings, just so that you can get them under your fingers against a backing track like that's using the chords here. Now, one of the things you'll find is that although I'm not using a backing track right off the bat, you'll still hear the chords go by. So what you can see on the top 4 strings right here, just in the tab that's on the screen, I've outlined a 4-string voicing for the A major 7 arpeggio. Sounds like this. From there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move immediately into the G sharp 7 sharp 5. Without having to move my hand into a different part of the neck, okay? So what I'm technically, because these chords are so closely related on the fretboard, what I'm doing is I'm using shape 1 of the caged system to articulate both of those chords. Okay, so both of those chords are covered in what we've done there. Now if I just move the tab onto the next line, what I've got here now, I've got the C sharp minor 7 being played on the top 3 strings, and then of course the F sharp 13 as well. Okay, so if I play that exercise through in its entirety, it sounds like this. You should notice with that is that you can hear the chords going by even though there's no backing track there. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to play that same exercise but over a backing track where the chords are going by. As I'm going through that example there, you can hear quite clearly that I'm outlining the chord progression just by playing through the notes of those arpeggios. Now there's way more ways that you can articulate a chord change rather than just using the tones that are in the chords, but that's a particularly musical way of doing it because all of the information that you're playing as it's in the chords, what you're doing is your soloing is complementing what's going on in the rhythm and vice versa. The rhythm is complementing you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take those exact same shapes, but I'm going to just jam around them with some different rhythms and motifs and what have you, and see what comes out as a part of an improvisation. As you can see, it's very, very easy to play melodically around the chords without having to stretch yourself. I'm not playing fast at any of those points. I'm just literally playing the notes that are in the chords. Now, like most things in music, this isn't a silver bullet. This isn't the only thing that you would need. There's plenty of other things to explore. But for those of you out there that are interested in articulating chord changes as they go by, being able to just hit the arpeggios of the chord tones is one particular way that you can get started. If you are a rock guitar player that's interested in expanding their technique and their harmonic levels of capability on the instrument, check out the link in the description below where you can get access to my free soloing course. Now I know that a lot of people sign up for courses and then don't even get involved to do the work, so what I shall also do is email you accountability steps every day for the next month to make sure you get through this stuff, get it done and get some serious results. Also, if you're not ready to leave YouTube yet, YouTube's got a fair idea of another video I've done that could help you out loads. It's popped up on your screen right now, so click that for more.